So, what's going on in deliberate practice and how can we clinicians apply it to improve our work? With time and experience, things become automatic. In fact, Anders Ericsson calls this automaticity. Cognitive scientists call it System 1 thinking. You wouldn't be able to listen to me right now if you weren't in System 1. You would have to interpret every single word, and by the time you understood the word you were listening to, you'd be 10 words behind. So automaticity isn't bad, it's good. It's how we walk, it's how we drive a car. When things are no longer consciously driven, they are in automaticity, and it makes our lives so much easier. Now here's the bad news about automaticity. We continue doing something even when it's not working all that well. And we believe in that System 1 thinking even when it doesn't really help us achieve what we're there to achieve. In order for us to get better, we need to be pushed beyond automaticity, beyond the things that we do well. Let's just remember, our outcomes are really quite good. The problem is they're not getting better. One way to explain this is we're on automatic. We are not doing the things, we're not pushing ourselves to the edge of our performance into an area that researchers call the zone of proximal development, where your usually effective behavior begins to break down. You need to be pushed to that edge. And I say push because most of us don't like to go there. It's much more comfortable to be able to explain rather than do the hard work required to actually improve our craft just a little bit. And in fact, deliberate practice is about breaking down automaticity. First becoming aware of it, and then identifying those areas where we need to apply conscious attention, specifically our errors, and then developing a plan, a remedial plan, so that we can actually try to improve. Being pushed into that zone of proximal development is what deliberate practice is all about. So let me give you just a little example of this. Do this with me. I want you to take your two fingers and put them together, just like this. And it might be easier to see from the side. What I'd like you to do with your two fingers is actually send them in opposite directions, like this. Take a minute and try to make that happen. Just see if you can make them go in the direction opposite of the other. Take a moment, see if you can do that. Now hurry up. Come on, start doing it. Have them go in opposite directions. Now, if you're like most people right now, here's what you're doing. Or you're doing this. We put the fingers far apart. It seems like we're doing what I'm asking, but I'm not. I'm asking you to send your fingers in opposite directions. Take a minute. It's difficult, isn't it? Well, there's a reason for this. This is what comes to us naturally and automatically. It's a coordinated activity. To try to overcome that automaticity takes a lot of effort. First, you have to be aware that you're not doing what I'm asking. Like, once again, this is not doing what I'm asking. I'm asking them to go in opposite directions. Now I want you to think of the last workshop you went to on psychotherapy. Very often you watch a videotape. The videotape looks like something quite different and you're asked, now come on, do it. Why can't you just do it? It's nearly impossible. It's because the information is not being presented in a way that can actually help you master the small micro skills necessary to get the big picture accomplished in the end. So let me help you out a little bit here. We're going to do some deliberate practice. And one of the first steps in deliberate practice is breaking down the activity, breaking down the whole into something small and accomplishable. So let's do this. Let's just take our fingers and put them together once again. And all I want you to do is send your fingers in opposite directions, 1/4 of a circle. Just send them in opposite directions, 1/4 of the circle. Just 1/4. Don't give in to the temptation to go any farther. This is what deliberate practice would be about. Do you follow me? And now complete the circle at the bottom. I can see that you're doing it. I can see it because I'm sitting here watching the camera guys be successful at this, actually. So you break the activity down into small acts. And I'm guessing that as you're doing this, you're noticing the conscious effort this requires. Deliberate practice is not for sissies. It really requires an intense amount of concentration. Here's how you'll know when you've been doing deliberate practice correctly. You will be cognitively depleted at the end. Sometimes people say that they noodle on the guitar or the piano. When you're noodling, you're not practicing. Reading a book about psychotherapy is not deliberate practice. You have to not only have a case in mind, an error that you made with that particular case, you then have to search for an article about that case and then develop a plan about how you're going to use that skill the next time with your client. And you're still not done yet. Once you've tried it out with the client, you need to think and reflect on the experience. How successful were you? Initially, it will seem really challenging and difficult. But with time, you put the small pieces together into a whole, and you can manage to get better at that specific activity.